Alright guys, so I have some fuel cell updates for you today. So in this video, what I'm going to do, we're going to walk through their financials from a high level, and then we're going to tail off with a technical analysis for this company. Now, if you want more information, check the link above. I'm linking a video that I made recently that has detailed information for you on fuel cell so you can get started. Now, before I get started, smash that like button right there below, and also comment below as well if you have any questions throughout this video or if I missed any details that you would like to share with everyone else watching. Also, feel free to subscribe to the channel. You get weekly uploads from yours truly on videos like this or just very popular stocks, possibly a suggestion of your own. Leave them down below in those comments. Also, feel free to join our free Discord channel, link in the description. So for those who don't know already, from a high level, this company is the largest publicly traded fuel cell manufacturer in the United States. So fuel cell has really been also part of this whole EV market bubble. So you can kind of incorporate them into that sector. That's a good way to look at it because they were part of that hype when all this was happening. They're part of that kind of greener, renewable energy, that whole category. And essentially that whole market had been pumping recently and now it's starting to cool off. So it begs the question, who's going to recover a little bit better from this? So that's what we're going to jump into my screen here. Look at the current state. So we're going to walk through financials. I'm utilizing Yahoo. We're going to walk through the financials, talk through some of the numbers, and then I'll tail off with a technical analysis. And again, this is all high level, but we're going to tail off with a technical analysis. And in that, I'm going to identify resistance and support levels. And then we're also going to take a look at some possible other patterns that may be coming our way. So like I mentioned, let's jump into the financials next. And again, before I proceed with the rest of this video, I'm not an expert. Please do your own due diligence. I'm just here to share information. So hopefully you enjoy this content and let's keep pushing along here. So here is Fuelcell Energy. Again, this is yahoo.com. Let's take a look at their financials here. So it closed on the day at a price of $7.38. And it was up 1.93%. So taking a quick look here, their beta is pretty high. That makes sense. Essentially, it's overvalued. So it means that it was trading at about 2.19 times its true value. So we have a beta here of about 2.19. That's fairly high. That means it was trading about over twice of what it should be valued. Market cap at about $2 billion. So it's essentially still categorized as a small cap company. If we keep going through here, again, EPS is negative. They're still struggling to break that. And again, with this company, they have a lot of debt, and we're going to talk into that next. So like I mentioned, they have a lot of debt. Let's jump into the financials. So quickly looking at the revenue, they're trailing 12 months. The revenue is essentially up a little bit. It's a little bit better. It's getting better there. Gross profit is still negative. And then if I jump over here to cash flow, let's take a look at this. So ultimately, they have negative cash flows, and then if we jump down here, their debt is substantially higher, and it's a lot higher from last year as well. So we got to keep all this in mind. Now, it's not uncommon to see, such a ratio like this, a company having a lot of debt in this kind of industry, because usually a utility-related industry or market is very heavy in debt. So that's just something that I want to make note of. Now, one thing I did forget to mention, jumping back here, they have been cutting down on their operating expenses. So they're cutting down on expenses. They're still pursuing a lot of debt. So let's be a little bit wary of some of these factors that I mentioned here. And again, do your own due diligence. This is just very, very high level. But that is what I've noticed from their financials. So next, let's jump into the technical analysis. So this is Thinkorswim. This is a trading platform offered by TD Ameritrade. You guys asked me a lot about this. So what I'm going to do for you is link something up above. So above, I made a video. It's fairly old, but it gives you the whole 9 yards to get started on this, right? So it shows you how to set up an account. It shows you how to download the software. And then also in this video, I walk you through, how I have it set up just like this, how I set up these lines, all these different indicators. You can tune it to yourself or you can copy me. It doesn't matter. But I walk you through all of that again, linked up above. Now, jumping back into it, this is Fuelcell Energy, ticker symbol FCEL. This is the last 180 days now. Looking at it, it's been fairly flatlined, and then we're seeing a little bit of this bump here. Volume, based on these blue bars, these are my volume bars, is substantially higher, so we gotta be a little bit careful with that. Now, outside looking in really quickly here, there has clearly been a strong support at about this $7 price range, and then we capped out at a nice resistance about that $10.26 price range. So looking at this really quickly, what I did notice is that it hit that really hard and it pulled back, and that is how I found these levels. These are my support and resistance levels. So I noticed that it did jump up to there. Now, what I also noticed is how quickly it did that. Look at this. This volume is coming out of nowhere. Now, again, a lot of it could be hype and speculation, but now one thing I do want to know is that it's likely not a pump and dump. Now, when I say pump and dump, like typically to me, it's a company running up like this, but doesn't have its true potential or value. Unlike a penny stock or something that is just insanely manipulated. Not that this isn't, but it could be, and we got to be very careful with that because it could drop down quite a bit. Like I said, their beta is fairly high, so they're trading above average. So maybe they're starting to cool down a little bit and start to reach their true potential value. Anyways, looking at this, one thing I did notice as well right off the bat is that we're starting to indicate signs of a potential bearish flag here. So I'm going to draw that in for you really quickly. And essentially what that means is that this will start moving. And if it's testing that line right now, and if it breaks through, sorry about that. And if it breaks through here, essentially that support level on this bearish flag, it's typically going to indicate bearish momentum. And then one thing I do want to mention too is that a lot of volume has not really been traded around this price level over time. So essentially what will happen is if it does break through here and start becoming bearish, I would project that it potentially has a good chance of gapping down. So it might gap down quite a bit if it does break this resistance. I don't think it'll be anything really subtle. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but again, just be very cognizant of that. Now, again, it might not hit this, it might continue to appreciate, and then potentially we might break that resistance level. Now, I'm not forecasting a whole lot of catalysts that might project that. So please leave any information below, any news that you've heard about, or maybe mergers or something that might push this up a little bit further. But right now, I think it's just starting to cool down and realize its true value. Another thing I want to point out here is the RSI indicator. It's a little bit lower on the RSI indicator, generally indicating a good buying point. And as you can imagine, it is referring to this support level that I identified. So it's saying that it's generally at about a good buy. That makes sense. It found support here before. So again, it's just an indicator though. It's staying proportionate to the section that I'm highlighting. It's not considering any factors or anything. It's absolute values. And now we can also use tools like my MACD indicator. And as you can see, it's still in the red area. It's still bearish for me. However, if you look at these bars, they are starting to regress a little bit, but we are still bearish. We're in red. So just take that into account as well. But here's support and resistance levels for Fuelcell Energy. Here's a bearish flag pattern that I identified, which typically means, again, if it breaks through the support level that is incorporated within that bear flag pattern, it means it has potential to jump down. And when it does jump down, I think it will gap down. I think it will jump down hard. Again, my opinion, I'm just going off what I've seen from volume indicators that I won't get into for this video and just keeping it high level for you. So that is my take on Fuelcell Energy. I think there's still potential here, just like with a lot of these green companies. Again, you're going to have a lot of upcoming catalysts in the next few months or years if Joe Biden is president. So keep all that in mind. And then, again, that's just one of many catalysts, but also that's where you also look to the books, right? Look how they've historically been playing with their cash. Look how they're managing their company. These are very important things to look at. It might look good on a chart, but it might look bad in the books, and the books is essentially the core of the company. So keep all that in mind. Again, Fuelcell Energy, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Do your own due diligence. Be careful with this company because you never know what can happen in the stock market. So I hope this video helped you out. Like this video if it did serve value for you. I'm really trying to get better at these videos. And if you have any suggestions on any video topics or anything like that, please share that right there below. Again, also feel free to subscribe to the channel. You get weekly uploads from yours truly and access to a free Discord channel. Link in the description. Good luck to you guys the rest of this week in trading and or investing when it comes to the stock market, and happy trading.